Guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me. This is my Tesla Model Y. It's a 2022. I've had this a couple months now. I've done several videos on this. So the video I want to do today is I want to tell you the top 10 things that I dislike about the Tesla Model Y long range. All right, and this might be applicable to the performance version as well. Just quirks, things I don't like, things that have kind of annoyed me over the last couple months. Now I do want to say this, before you guys start typing away and telling me that I'm a Tesla hater and I need to just not say anything at all. Guys, I really like the car. The car's awesome, but there's these 10 things I just don't like about the car, or they could be improved, or it could be changed, or they've just kind of been an annoyance for me. So let's get in, top 10 things. These are in no particular order, and I want to give you a perspective too. Some of these things I'm comparing to my other Teslas. This is the third Tesla that I've owned. I currently own a 2015 Model S P85D, and then prior to this, I've had a 2016 Model X. So I've had the S, I have the S, I have had an X, and this is my Y. So this is my third Tesla. So some of these things I'm like, well, I like how the other cars, how the design is on the other car better, and so I want to reference that. So if this is your first Tesla, these things may not be an annoyance to you, but they are to me, and so I want to get into them. Let's get started. All right, here on the driver's side rear is the charge port. I don't like this charge port access. It seems like this opens way too easy. If I just brush by this, sometimes it opens up. Sometimes it doesn't open up at all. And this door really seems extremely flimsy. I feel like this is going to break off eventually. With this being up in the air while you're charging your car, it really feels like this is susceptible to vandalism, like I'm gonna break it off. Also, whenever I've been using a public charger and I've been using the J1772 adapter, and this is in there, okay, when this is in there and the charger is connected to this, if I go and I unclip the charger from this door will always come down and hit that thing, and I've got to like manually like hit it back up. Seems extremely flimsy. So it does seem like it has a mind of its own in that it comes up and down at times when I don't need it to, or it won't come up when it needs to. So I think the way that Tesla used to do this in my Model S. So in the 2015 Model S, they have a better. I think this is a smaller little door. It comes open. It's not gonna bump. It's not bumped as easily because it's a little more recessed behind the fender, the rear quarter panel here. So even if you just hit it or you run into it, it doesn't open up. You have to really put some effort into it to open it. Okay, for number two, I want to come inside here and I want to show you one thing that I think that my Model S does a lot better. So when I'm in here and I want to change the fan, for example, when I go into the climate control, which the icon is saved right here, every time I want to increase or decrease the fan speed, I have to come into this menu and I have to slide my finger across this bar to be able to change the fan speed. Now, I don't like to use the auto feature. All of my cars have that option. I don't like to use that. I don't know if you guys like to use that either, but I like to manually control my fan speed and control where the air is going. So I do like this, how you can kind of control the airflow, kind of pinch and zoom as far as the airflow is concerned. But having to come into this menu and adjust the fan speed, and you have to keep your finger here and slide it back and forth, I think it's a little bit of annoying. For example, if there was just a plus and minus option right here for the fan speed, that would be better. On my Model S, I can go into this scroll wheel on the Model S is customizable, and I can change it to different settings. So I can have it control the fan, the radio, I can have it control different things. And here, this is only for autopilot. So I wish that I could customize this scroll wheel to change my fan speed, and I could just increase or decrease it, because I can do that in the Model S. I did that in my Model X, and I think that'd be a much more useful use of this scroll wheel. When I'm not using autopilot, I could adjust the fan speed, for example. All right, the only complaint I have about the driving, and that is when I'm on autopilot, so when I've engaged the autopilot, and I'm on auto steer and I'm driving down the road, there's this thing called phantom braking. You might have heard of this if you've done any kind of research on these Teslas. It senses something that's not there and it'll slow down. It'll try to do a maneuver. And mainly it's been slowing down. For the couple times it's happened for me over the last couple months, it's been where the car has slowed down or tried to stop more abruptly than it should for something that wasn't even there. Now this is a concern because it's a safety issue. I feel like I was going to get rear-ended the few times that it happened because I just randomly stopped for nothing, and the flow of traffic was kind of interrupted from this phantom braking. So this is something that Tesla needs to iron out the bug. I know other people complain about this, but that's just something that I think Tesla needs to get right, especially when they're trying to achieve full self-driving status. And I don't feel I have much confidence in this car's ability to full self-drive if it can't even go on autopilot without doing this phantom braking. The next item that I have a concern with is the autopilot. This car only has autopilot only. It does not have full self-driving. It does not have enhanced autopilot, which means when I engage autopilot, which is a double click down like that, it engages autopilot. It'll also engage the auto steer. Now when I'm driving down the road and I want to change lanes, so if I want to go into the left or right lane, I put on my blinker, it lightens up the steering wheel, I move into that lane, and then it disengages auto steer, and I have to double click this down twice in order to re-engage the auto steer. I think that's kind of annoying, mainly because my 2015 that has autopilot 1.0 does the auto lane change automatically, like it's included. Now if I was to pay extra for the enhanced autopilot or full self-driving, that would be included, but it's just kind of an extra step that you have to take when you're trying to change lanes and you're on autopilot and the auto steer feature. So be aware that the base autopilot on these cars, you're not getting auto lane change, and you have to re-engage the auto steer every single time you want to change lanes. All right, the door handles on the Tesla Model 3 and Y have this lever action thing where you have to push the wide part of the handle, it pops out this, and you pull this. Now, it's not bad. It's not a bad system. It feels like it's a pretty robust. It feels like this isn't going to break off. They've been pretty reliable from what I've read. The problem is it's almost best if you have two hands available. If you have two hands available, you push in the big part with one, you pull out with your other hand. So if you have two hands available all the time, it works pretty well. Where it's kind of awkward is, for example, my right hand has something in it, and I need to open the door. I've got to like one finger here and move my hand over there and kind of awkwardly do that. If I'm walking from the front of the car and I try to go here, I've got to go like that and kind of bring my hand to the back of the handle. So one-handed, it's kind of awkward. So I don't love that feature with this car, that the door handles, there's some awkwardness to opening them one-handed and in certain positions, certain angles. They're just kind of I think there's a better solution out there. I think Tesla needs to improve on that. The next thing I want to talk about is the kind of build quality, just some of the materials being used in this. It just feels like it's not super luxurious as far as the materials are concerned. Here's an example. So see the carpet here? This is in the rear passenger side where passengers are getting out. This is only a 2-month-old car. It has 1,300 miles on it. You can kind of see the carpet's kind of getting worn out right here where there's no protection on it. If you don't have floor mats, the floor mats are your carpet's going to wear out. Like the carpet around the seat risers here, I feel like is going to get kind of like worn down. Even this area here, after 2 months of ownership, that's really looking like, I don't know, I need to find some kind of protection for there. But this area is going to get worn down. The carpet just feels really cheap. Like if you don't have protection on it, it's going to get worn out, and it's not going to look very good even after a couple months. Okay, for the next two items, I'm sitting here in the car, and I wanted to show you something here. Here's how I open my garage door. I have to keep my garage door opener, a manual garage door opener, on my visor here to open my garage door. The HomeLink system, the GPS activated, and you set your garage door up to, is not included in the car automatically. It's an upgrade. You can upgrade it after the fact. It seems like it's always sold out on the Tesla online website. Here on the Tesla website, you can add the automatic garage door opener, $350. It seems like that should be included for the price of this car. I guess that's kind of a concern, is that I have to pay $350 to include something that probably should have already been included anyways in the car. All right, I'm looking out the back window. I'm in the front, I'm looking at the back. This is the back window. That's the view out the back window. The rear window is kind of small, and it's really just because of the angle that it sits. It's at a really sharp angle, so the viewing area is very small out the back. So you don't have a lot of visibility out the back when you're backing up, when you're looking at traffic behind you. There is, however, a nice feature here that you can. I keep the rear view camera app right here available on my bottom, so that way I can kind of see this. I can push that at any time so you can see. So even though visibility out the back window isn't great, you do have a great camera system to be able to see out the back in that regard. All right, when you buy your Tesla Model Y or 3, you get a key card. This is in 2022. I got this key card. You get 2 of these, and to open the car, you swipe it on the door pillar, and then when you're inside the car, you tap it near the back of the cup holder, and then that's how you kind of start the vehicle, how you're able to go. So you're encouraged though to use the phone key. With the phone key, you set up your phone Bluetooth to the car, so that way when we have your phone with you, and you have the latest version of the app, you're able to open the car door. Now, one time, since I've owned the car over the last 2 months, I haven't been able to get into the car. It took me like 10 minutes to get in the car because something was happening. There was no communication between my phone and the car. I had to log out, log back in. It took like 10 minutes to kind of play around with it before I could open it up. I didn't have the key card with me. Also, one other issue I have with the Keycard phone system is if you have, let's say you have something in your hand and you go to the back of the car and you want to open the hatch, or you want the hatch to be open when you get there, the only way to do that is you have to go into the app and open it with the app. You can't open it with the Keycard. The Keycard is only used at the door pillar on the driver's side, so there's no way to like swipe this near the rear of the car and it's going to open the hatch up. Also, the phone, sometimes the phone doesn't read. You have to have your phone pretty close to the rear hatch of the car in order for it to register that your phone is close enough to read it. So you can't I've had a couple times where the phone's been in my back pocket. I've walked up to the hatch, pushed the button, it didn't work, and so I had to take my phone out, had to put my phone closer to the rear hatch, push the button for it to come up. So it's kind of quirky like that. This would all be resolved if you had a nice key fob like the Model S or the X come with a key fob where you can double click the back hatch and it opens up, or double click the top and it opens the doors. I have heard that you can buy a Tesla Model Y or 3 key fob and it can be used for that purpose, but it's a couple $100 to be able to buy the key fob, and it just seems like kind of an unnecessary expense to be able to spend that to get the functionality that you need out of the key card. So the key card's kind of quirky, so is the phone app. When they work, it's great, but sometimes I've ran into a few instances where it just is not working as well as it's designed to work. All right, one thing I want to point out here on the front, this is a slight annoyance, and that is that this front trunk lid is not powered up or down. It's manually up, manually down. So you have to pop it open on the touchscreen on the dash, or from the app you can pop it open. But it pops open and then you lift it up, and it opens up very, very easily, very smoothly, very nicely. I mean, it's got nice hydraulic strut assist on here. It's not heavy to open up. But to close it, you have to bring it down. You've got to set it down, and then you have to put both hands on either side of the Tesla emblem like this, like so, and you push down until it locks in place. Now, that's not that bad. That's not that big of a deal. All of the Teslas do this. None of the Teslas have power up or down front trunk, but a lot of the electric cars are having that option. It'd be nice that if this was powered up or down. I feel like I'm not using this as much because it's just not as convenient as, say, like the back hatch that can go up and down powered. I have to put both hands on the hood. You know, I put a big handprint right here on my nice clean black car, and so it just seems like it's a manual process that should be automated. It should be powered up or down, and I think that's an improvement that Tesla could make, and you know, we could see that in the future, but this is something that needs to be improved on. So guys, that's my top 10 things that I don't like or dislike or kind of annoyed with the Model Y. I love the car. The car's awesome. Are these deal breaker items? No, they're not. I think they're just small little quirks. They're kind of nitpick items. I get that. And I really had to kind of stretch to find 10 items because there is a lot to love about this car. There's a lot of great features. In an upcoming video, I'm doing a top 10 things I love about this car, and that's going to be a lot easier because there are a lot more things to love about this car than there are hate about it. But there's some quirks. There's a few things with maybe a few software changes, a few material changes, things like that. Tesla can really improve on these items, and it probably wouldn't cost them a whole lot to really make an improvement on these things and just kind of make it a better car. And I think we're going to see some changes and improvements, refinements over the years. Since this car came out in 2020, there has been improvements. You know, the ride quality is fantastic. The fit and finish is good. I think the quality of materials can be a little better and be stepped up, especially when you're paying this car now in September of 2022. This is a $75,000 car. So to pay that much money for a car and have, you know, just some quirky things like this, you know, it can be improved. Every car has some positives and negatives, so these are just some of the negative things that I just kind of stood out to me over owning this for the last couple months. Would I still buy the car? Absolutely. I love the car. I'd still buy it. These things are not going to be game changer items. These are just things that I just would think need to be improved on the car to really make it just, you know, that much better. Anyways, guys, leave your comment down below. Let me know if you guys agree with these things, if there's other things that you dislike about your Tesla Model Y, and let me know if you agree with the things I said. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.